exciting podcast today. Okay, we're going to talk about the malaise that is Tottenham Hotspur. And Ange Postecoglou seems shocked when I said that. We've got Hancock's hot take, which caused stir and shockwaves throughout the Jaffin community. And crucially, according to people that seem to really like it, Lasagna chat will arrive. I'm going to go through my top 5 cheese and tomato and 1 meat carb-based meals in the first ever edition of Random Top 5s. And I'd quite like to talk about Birmingham as well. So we're going to bring in Luke, who is a Birmingham City fan, and he's going to explain why he's allowed to enjoy the new era of Birmingham.
I need a full-blown explanation of how they're able to do what they're doing as well.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to just stick, but everyone. I don't want the response to be going, look, don't be salty just because I'm genuinely interested. How are you spending £15 million on the striker in League One? How is this within the rules?
Right.
Is there going to be any ramifications going forward? Are you in any way worried about it? And again, the answer can't just be, no, I'm not worried about it. We just got all the money. I need to actually figure out what's going on.
Yeah, okay. Well, after an adult conversation today, Flav. So, interesting times. And also, Flav is being called out on 2 weeks on the trot now by one of the biggest YouTubers on the planet.
I thought we settled this.
I thought
this
well.
was settled a year ago.
But do you know what Flav said to me? I said, did you know that
between you?
Yeah. Go on.
What? What did you say?
Well, I said to you on WhatsApp, but do you know Stephen Tries? He's had a couple of little wee digs at you last couple of weeks. Yeah. Stephen, of course, fan of the podcast. He sees great things. He's got great taste. But you said to me,
is he bored between videos? Is that we got nothing to do but come in here and like how busy can you be? You telling me he's got an hour and 9 minutes every week spare
to listen to this shit? Yeah, well, it would seem so. But do you know what Flav said? He said, You said I live in the fire.
If he wants it, he can have it. I live in the fire. You know that, James, about me.
Indeed.
That's what you said, James. I do know that.
The lazy next thing I say is, would you two get in the ring?
No.
Yeah.
I'm sick
Fleet
to
Services.
my back. Yeah, well, maybe if we could make it happen.
Oh, okay.
Outdoors.
I think we're having 2 different conversations here, but of getting in the ring. We are. Sorry about last week. I was on holiday, getting a viral bug, so I sort of got my comeuppance. But we weren't able to do a podcast, which is a shame. But as I say, there will be Lasagna chat, and I've got another new bit as well called Unnecessary Rules, which just popped into my head.
Do you reckon that's sort of effective in keeping people on board to the podcast?
I don't know if I've given up or not. I'm sort of on a week by week basis.
But just keep going, and then there'll be Lasagna chat.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? Look, I've been quite fragile this week, guys.
Yeah.
I will have to say. So in terms of being able to go through all the comments again, then get them on here, haven't utterly been able to do that. But it was quite clear what people enjoyed it. Talk to Jake said everyone's saying this, but I had to comment the lasagna bit is genuinely a top 10 Jaffin bit for me. Been watching since Ball Street. Unreal, lads. Football podcast. Was it that? People connected on a level that I think caught people off guard. I don't think people have thought about the depths of their own feelings around lasagna.
Honestly, James, I can't even tell you what the lasagna bit is. Yeah. I know we talked about a bit about lasagna.
It was 2 weeks ago, which is a bit of a shame. But basically...
Jim.
Yeah, go on.
You know when you look at YouTube, right, and you can see the spikes and when people have gone back and looked at stuff?
Yeah.
Do you know the biggest spike from the last week's episode, or the week before, is what's better than Carlton Palmer?
Right. Well, yeah. Is that coming back? Are you going to be able to do that?
I mean, I can do that on the fly, mate. It's not complicated. We can do it any time.
So, really?
Mate, you could. It's right now. I was surprised. I was like, "What's that spike?" And it says, what is better than Carlton Palmer? And then in brackets
Is that
lasagna.
is that great
So
or is
maybe
that
it's a combination.
heartbreaking?
The people want what the people like.
People want what the people want.
You've got to follow the evidence.
I'm happy to live in those waters, and I enjoy those waters. Obviously, we were talking about. I don't want to get into the depths of it now. We're going to do a bit of football chat first. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that. So we are a week on from the deadline day, slamming shut, and now you've got what you've got, lads. You've got what you've got. The big one I think on deadline day, obviously, was Raheem Sterling to Arsenal.
Yep.
And the thing I like about this is, isn't it funny how the feeling around Raheem Sterling was like bordering on he's washed up. But as soon as he puts on an Arsenal shirt, and he hasn't even played yet, it's the gear change, it's the new chapter that just kind of allowed, yeah. And I'm here for it. I love Raheem Sterling. I've always backed Raheem Sterling. He is Rangers, not through and through because he left as soon as he could, but he was at us at one point, and therefore I get to own a piece of him. So I want the best for him, and I think he's a bloody good pro.
Yes.
But yeah, the feeling around was that he's average. Turns out,
not. Of course, he's not average. He's not average, but he's 29. But he's an old 29. Do you know what I mean? He's not. He's like an Aaron Lennon 29, not a Teddy Sheringham 29.
Yeah,
different players.
But there's a reason for that, isn't there?
Speed, the way he plays, how much impact he's taken.
Incorrect.
How often he's fouled.
Incorrect.
That has no bearing.
No. The reason why he's an old 29 is because he burst on the scene like Aaron Lennon as a 17-year-old. I think
it's nothing to do with the speed. Is speed lacking and speed being a massive.
I mean,
problem?
are we talking about the same thing here? When you're thinking about how you feel about a player, often it's about how long they've been in your kind of mind. Are there players who like Man United? Do you know people? There's always sort of a Man United player that kind of came through and has actually been there for ages, but actually still think they're younger than they are.
I reckon there's a lot of people out there that think Rashford's washed up at 26.
I've got a Rashford rant ready to go. If you
okay,
like
let's do Sterling before, because I have got some thoughts on Sterling joining Arsenal.
So he's gone there, right? And James Ollie, I think his name is. He was on ESPN, and there was a clip that came out in their gorgeous new studio, which I'm looking forward to going to. They saying how basically Chelsea are paying 10 million for Arsenal for him to be at Arsenal. Now,
I mean, it's the way you frame things.
Yeah, that's true. But
they're paying a proportion of his wages. I've got something on that. When you finished, remind me to say it.
Okay. But the ripple effect of that is essentially, there's a massive possibility here, and it will drive, I think, the narrative, and I think it will probably excite Raheem Sterling in the idea that Chelsea may have given Arsenal the final missing piece to give them the title in giving them an England international who's won titles, who's not even 30.
It's a stretch.
But it could be the difference. You upgrade from Reece Nelson to Raheem Sterling. That's a big jump. And when you think of the depth...
Even that is framing things in a very favourable way.
Why?
They've just...
Reece Nelson, with the greatest respect, and I hope he has a wonderful career, has done nothing in comparison to Raheem Sterling.
Of course. But Raheem Sterling isn't going to do what Reece Nelson did. Reece Nelson was a squad player. He was almost invisible.
Yeah.
He might as well not have been.
Point. That's my point.
Yeah, but they didn't go, right, we need to get rid of Reece Nelson and bring in Sterling. They just saw an opportunity to bring in Sterling, and then throwing Reece Nelson into this conversation has no value whatsoever.
No, my point is...
I know what your fucking point is.
What's my point? Tell me what my point is. I'll tell you if you're right.
It's Reece Nelson's gone.
Yeah.
Right? And so they brought in Raheem Sterling is going to take up his position in the squad. But he's just taking a position in the squad.
Right. That's not my
Reece
point.
Nelson's position.
That's not my point. Okay.
Are we arguing? Is this an argument?
I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Depends how this next bit goes.
Tetchy. You're ill and you're tetchy, James.
Might be, yeah. Well, and yeah, and I could aggravate something at any time. I don't need that. My point actually is, is that
Go on.
say they go and buy Mudryk, right? Say it's this year, but they've gone and bought Mudryk. They've got someone who kind of only plays in one position, and you're not sure if he's that good or not, or you can trust him to be smart enough to play the kind of football you want, contribute with goals, make the right movements, be a quality Premier League pro. Reece Nelson, right? Again, I like Reece Nelson. I have nothing against him. He's got a great goal against Bournemouth. I wish him well. But he kind of stays on the right-hand side. He is not competition for anyone on the left-hand side or in the middle or anything like that. You wouldn't put him up front. Raheem Sterling, in terms of the depth, attacking depth of Arsenal, you have someone who can play on the right wing to a very high level, on the left wing to a very high level, as a centre forward, which he's done in World Cups or whatever, if you need him to, if Arteta wants to try something different, to a high level. And he's been there, done it, and can provide an element of leadership to the group as well. So that is a massive jump up for me in terms of the overall optics of the squad. And I'll be honest, Flau, I'm going to finish on this, and we may argue on this. It makes me want Arsenal to win the league quite a lot more.
Well, I can understand why you would want Arsenal to win the league compared to Manchester City. Right?
I've got the Raheem angle now. It's like wherever Eze goes. Do you know what I mean?
No, but Raheem Sterling has nothing to do with QPR, James. He was played there once.
I saw him. I was on a minibus with Raheem in his QPR gear, all right?
He doesn't even remember that he was there, James. He has no idea that he was there. He's like, did I play for QPR? Jim,
yeah. That's a great question. Is there a footballer who has utterly forgotten that they were at a club?
Tevez West Ham.
Do you think he's... Oh,
Mascherano West Ham.
That stings. That's a dig.
Of course it is.
That's painful.
Nah. He went on to... Didn't Mascherano went on to win Champions League?
Do you know what? I bet...
Barcelona?
Yeah. True. He did. Yeah, you're right. It will be the last on his list. If he said, who did you play for? Carlito, who did you play for? Well, play for Boca Juniors, play for Juventus, play for Man United. Yeah, you're right. Do you know who might have forgotten a club? Marcus Bent. Remember Marcus Bent?
Because he had so many.
So yeah, he would have gone. And then I went to, where did I go to after that? That kind of. I bet he's probably had that.
Can I just say something about Sterling? So there is no downside to Arsenal signing Sterling. There is no downside. Chelsea are paying vast majority of their wages. It is in terms of squad, improving the squad significantly. Does he start for Arsenal? No. He definitely doesn't start ahead of Saka, Havertz and Martinelli. But you need players to fight on all fronts. Like he's not an upgrade on those three, I wouldn't say, at this stage. But as a squad, 100%. But also, he is a reject of City and now Chelsea. So
and
maybe
QPR.
there's something up with him.
And
QPR, yeah.
But what I would say, again, and this ain't a computer game. So these are people. And we saw this with Martinelli 2 seasons ago. Wonderful. Last season, struggled a bit. Trossard, I want to talk about, actually. But Trossard, sometimes you need something maybe a little bit different to that. As the levels of form and quality sort of go up and down, I think you would generally say Raheem Sterling is in a place of poor form over the last year, let's say, because of loads of reasons.
Needs opportunity. He didn't get any opportunities for. I mean, he did play for well in parts.
But he could absolutely like catch fire as a left winger for Arsenal and be playing well enough for Arteta to go, I'm sorry, Martinelli, I can't get you in.
Well, we know Arteta is ruthless in that respect and will pick the best team to get the result.
Because also, I think the fact that he is a bit of a name, and I would chat the question out to our beloved patrons who are with us right now, of which we're going to hear from a few. With the fact that, like you say, the wages and everything, the quality, the pedigree, let's say, of the player. Is there a better signing this summer than that? And also value, how much it's cost you, all those things. Is there a better signing than that, than Raheem Sterling? Because again, that's my point is that Reece Nelson could play on the right-hand side, and he could play as well as he wants to. He will not start the next game because Saka will be starting,
True.
right? And I guess no one can really do that when it comes to the right-hand side. But on the left-hand side, I think if Raheem Sterling got a run of 5 games and then was killing it, because of his status in the game, I think Arteta would go, I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course he would.
Our boy.
He would.
So he could be a game changer. He could be a massive game changer for them.
Yeah, if he turns up and he's the best...
Sweet Gunners are going to win it. I'm telling you.
If he goes to Arsenal and he's the best of Trossard and Martinelli, and he catches fire, then they've got an excellent chance of winning the league. But you'd have to show this kind of form that he hasn't shown for 4 years. So it might happen. It might be perfect for him. But if you look at that left-hand side, they're pretty stacked. Trossard's, unfortunately, excellent. And Martinelli, on his day, is world-class.
Can I ask you a question about... Sorry, go on, finish.
Sterling's depth across the front three gives Arsenal options in Champions League, it gives them options in League Cups, and they don't have to rely on necessarily that front three and run them into the ground. They played like Saka's played so much football that there will be opportunities for Sterling on that right. There has to be. Tom
Soutal, who's a Chelsea fan, fucking caveat that, I'm pretty sure.
I can't actually see any of this. I haven't got the
link. Oh, right, I'll say. He says Sterling from 3 years ago would have been a massive game changer, but I think he's a little past it now. He's 29.
Yeah, but he's not. There's different kinds of 29 in football. And like you said, he was exposed to football for a long time.
Yeah, I will give you that. But
there's no denying that he hasn't, for whatever reason, been able to get the run in the teams or show the kind of form he did when Guardiola had a couple, year 2 of Guardiola.
Do you know what, to be fair to
something else.
To be fair to Tom, my mate Erwin, who's Chelsea season ticket holder, he said Sterling had lost his pace.
Also, remember, Arsenal have taken advantage of this no-lose situation, whereas Chelsea, there was a lot of criticism of Chelsea saying that they'd kind of forced him out the football club. As I understand it, he didn't get in the first day squad, threw his toys out the pram and put a public statement and made his position untenable. Now it's worked out for him because he joined the club that probably sees more value in him than Chelsea did. But let's not get it twisted. Like Raheem Sterling engineered this whole situation because he didn't want to fight for his place in the team. Is that the right attitude of someone who will carry you through to the title?
Father of 3. Yeah.
Yeah, what we call you can't. What's his prefixes? Father of 3, multi-millionaire, Rolls-Royce driving Raheem Sterling. If you were reading in the Sun.
Good grief. I can't seem to send this to you, which is really annoying.
Yeah, but I'm getting sick to death, James. I'm getting sick to death of listening to fans talk about their own fucking football clubs.
Yeah, you're quite strong on this, aren't you?
I am strong on this. You want to get an actual well-rounded view of Arsenal Football Club or Manchester United Football Club? Don't speak to one of their fans. You're not going to get a well-rounded view.
Come to this channel.
Speak to James Allcott.
Yeah, come to me.
So there were a couple. Arsenal got a couple. Like Harry Semiu is great.
He is great.
Like he's one of the few Arsenal fans I can listen talk about his own football club and not get wound up or feel sick. He's great, Harry. So if you listen, you find him on TalkSport most weeks now, but he probably has his own YouTube channel. But it's the way they're framed. So I can't remember word for word what this Man United tweet. It was a gold Twitter. So it wasn't like he'd bought himself a blue tick like me.
Right.
He's actually got a gold tick.
Gold tick?
And he's talking about Sancho's move to Chelsea. And he's framed it in such a way that it makes like Man United have pulled a masterstroke. If he said United will recover £53 million. What he means by recover, he means they will recover in unspent or currently thus wages that are yet to be paid. So they'd committed to this contract. Chelsea have bought it out. And so they don't have to pay the rest of that money. He ignores the fact that essentially they're letting Sancho go for what will be £30 million, which is £50 million less than they paid for him, £55 million less than they paid for him. Leave that bit out.
And he's young, isn't he? It's not like, oh yeah, but he's 29 now and we bought him 3 years ago.
Yeah. So there's loads. This conversation's pretty nuanced and it's far-reaching, and there's lots of different facets to this Sancho deal. But don't just tweet and leave all of the information out that doesn't suit you just to make your club look better. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? You're talking there about the kind of understanding and Twitter being a bit of a mess. I found this really interesting. So someone from, I won't say his name just in case he's going to get in trouble or whatever, but you are, mate, because I know you listen to Jeff. And he said he got hammered because he was getting lots of shit for suggesting that the Old Trafford crowd was an issue. When he said, I can categorically tell you it's the worst it's been in the 27 years I've been going. The crowd. Because I think this is really interesting because when the bulk of the world, 99% of people that watch that game last week are watching it with the sound being absolutely edited by a sound editor, right? In terms of the crowd and stuff like that. Whereas, like, as we both know, like how it feels in the ground can often be so different, and that can have a huge effect on the players. And I said, why was it so bad? He said, every misplaced pass, every pass that was not progressive, holding onto the ball longer than 5 seconds, collective moans and groans around the stadium, puts undue pressure on players, inevitably make more mistakes, vicious cycle. Just a pretty negative atmosphere at all home games for Man United. It's interesting.
Yeah. I saw the clip. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes. I mean, and that's evident in any ground where things aren't going well, I'd imagine. I would actually say that Man United fans have been pretty good, given the amount of success that they've experienced. Certainly the away support, to still be completely supportive and loud, it's quite a difficult thing for a large support group to maintain. Not on social media. Everything's a fucking bin fire on social media. But in the ground, typically, Manchester United have been okay.
Yeah.
But if he's saying that for someone who goes week in, week out,
yeah.
then who else can question him other than other United fans in that ground?
Speaking of which, what's going on with Tottenham and what's going on with Ange? Because obviously the results haven't been like perfect, but like the overall dominance of a football match, not the overall, I'll say that, has been like solid. Let's say,
yeah, it's fine.
But I'm seeing people sort of turning on Ange a bit here. So what's going on?
You're seeing some people on Twitter do that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So is he as universally popular as people assume? No. We put a poll out, and after the Leicester game, first game of the season, it's like, what are your opinions on Ange? Is he the right manager to take us forward?
Right.
93% said yes.
93%.
So that's a fair barometer of perhaps where Spurs fans are. It's voted by about 2,000 people. It's probably fair, right?
Yeah,
some might argue that it was our audience, so the Fighting Cock's audience, so maybe we'd be a little more lenient than your average Spurs fan, a little more happy-clappy as we've been accused of being.
So the different Spurs podcasts, are there some that are considered more lenient than others?
Yeah. So that I get like abuse. Sorry, I'm just turning this.
Just showing off your tricep. You're so obvious, mate.
What was I saying? I get weekly, daily people tweeting me saying I'm a mouthpiece for the football club. It happens all the time on Twitter. I can give a shit. I literally couldn't care less.
Because you're raking it in, aren't you, from the club?
Yeah, it's £1,000 a week they pay me just to push their agenda.
Someone actually put that out. Has someone actually suggested that you're getting £1,000 a week? No, or is that a joke? That's a joke.
No, I just made that figure up. I would definitely take it though.
Yeah, of course.
52 grand a year.
Yeah, it's madness. Yeah.
Think of the kids. Yeah. Think of the kids, Jim.
Yeah.
So there are people out there, but but there is a certain fragility online now where and we're doing a podcast on the Fighting Cock about it tomorrow, where we're kind of trying to figure out what's going on. And I think there's a couple of things. I think Arsenal being as good as they are doesn't help. So people look at them
more than people realise. You think?
I don't think you can have rivals and not be impacted by whether they're good or bad. If they genuinely are rivals, Like, I'll give you an example. Manchester United, I might have said this before on here, I've said it several times elsewhere, but Manchester United are in this strange place where they're going through, and they might not even know it, an existential crisis. Because at this stage, no matter what they do, they'll never be as good as City. They can spend everything. They can do the way they operate and the way City operate means that they will never top City while things remain as they are, right? If Pep Guardiola stays at Manchester City, the chances of Manchester United winning the league are almost zero, especially with the standard of the other league, the standard of the other players in the league and how strong it is. You look at Manchester United now and you go, I don't know what that is. Now, that's fine because it happens. There's cyclical natures to every football club.
Sure.
But they've grown up where Manchester City were nothing to them. They would spit on them. They were nothing. The noisy neighbours. All their attention was on Liverpool. And now Manchester City, they've had to watch what's happened at Manchester City. Whether it's financially doped or not, it has no matter in this conversation because they're impacted directly by how successful they are. Manchester United fans might be going, yeah, well, you've done it by this, it's cheating, it's whatever. But deep down, they're hurting. And it's because Man City exists. So if you're in that situation, it's very difficult to feel really positive about your own football club. Now, to a smaller degree, I think that's happening at Tottenham. I think people are really impacted by the fact that we're not finishing above Arsenal, and we've been used to, 2 years prior to this. Now we've finished above them like 9 out of 10 seasons, whatever it was. Anyway, the point is, there's that. There's also people. There are a lot of people very vocal about how much they hate Daniel Levy.
Yep.
And we did another poll as to whether you leave you in or leave you out, and it's about 2/3 will leave you in. So there's a sizable minority, and that's sizable, who think that Daniel Levy should leave the football club
because he's not spending enough money in its most basic form. No.
So it used to be that he was tight. Now it's just that we haven't had success under his tenureship. So in the 25 years that he's been there, is it 25 years? Well, no. So effectively, they came in 2001, but they didn't take control of the club until 2006. So it's been 18 years, and we've not won anything significant in that time. So that's and all the clubs around us have. So I think that's where it's coming from. But what we got to the point now, I don't know if I put a tweet out yesterday. You tell me whether or not you think this is a fair thing to say, James.
Go
on. I said, I think the criticism of Ange's football lies with the high line. There's a disregard for what we're seeing play out in possession. I'm confident as ever that we'll see a dominant Tottenham. It's a matter of time before we start finishing and manipulating the flow of the games. So it means taking our chances, basically.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair thing to say. It might be a little bit,
No, I think that's bang on. I think that's bang on. Yeah.
I've had 2 days of abuse because of that. It's mad, isn't it?
Your life. That's crazy.
DMs, people screen grabbing it. Look at this fucking idiot. Look at this muppet. He's a Levy, sucking Levy off again. I haven't even fucking mentioned Daniel Levy. Literally got people. So it's like you can't even say anything positive about Spurs, about these group of people on Twitter jumping all over it because of how they feel about Daniel Levy.
Right.
So what a long-winded way of answering this is I think people are supportive of Ange Postecoglou, but they're so caught up in their overall negative feeling about how the club is run that it's seeping into everything they feel about Spurs. But fuck being like that, man. It's exhausting, I'd imagine.
Well, the thing I would chuck into the mix here. So I just thought I'd bring this up. I have no idea about these stats. I haven't looked at them really, probably. But I was just wondering, what's this? Shots. Where are you for shots? All right, so you're joint second for the amount of shots.
Yeah.
What's your conversion? I bet your conversion isn't terrible. 12%, out of the sort of the whole league.
Yeah, there's most touches in opponent's box.
Right, and then you're quite
most possession.
And you're sort of third highest for goals. So
I think that's the most possession in the top 5 leagues.
Right.
Well, so not the,
obviously the defensive side is going to play a part. So here's my theory on it a little bit for you guys to sort of dig into maybe a bit more tomorrow on your podcast. It's called The Fighting Cock. That's The Fighting Cock. I think there's something in the fact that, so say like with YouTube, there's a lot of wow, this new guy who's got this sort of deity of a manager, and they've got, wow, this guy's got this kind of new, refreshing way of doing it, and we think he's right, and he seems certain, and you start really well, it's what it does. It sets an element of an expectation and a watermark, a very high watermark of like, that's what Tottenham, because you're basically, as a football fan, you're living between what you could be and what you are, right? So what you are is obviously, a team that's huge and always in the top 6, 7, 8 or whatever, but hasn't been able to make that kind of final leap, right? But what you could be is what you saw in that first 10 games. And so you want to utterly believe in all of that. But as you start to sort of go back to what you currently are, and time goes on, you have different personality types that will deal with that differently. Some will go, no, I believe in that, and I think that's the right way to go. Let's keep going. And even if it's not total, there's moments where we're getting a bit frustrated or whatever. At least we're like dominating the game, scoring great goals, like attacking, and all those things. But then there's more cynical people that will lean the other way of like, no, you're wrong. Well, cynical is not fair for me to say, but like people who disagree with this sort of like tactic that's coming about, but the different way that Ange has played, that was so refreshing at the start because obviously Conte was the person before that. But the further you get away from that, people they're not as refreshed. Do you know what I mean? So they kind of want you to be winning it, and I guess the output in terms of the wins aren't the same. But what I would say is like, to obviously pinch an Arsenal phrase, although it was a phrase before that. Christ, it was, I think the 49ers, Bill Walsh did it.
I know
but
what
like,
you're saying.
Trust the process. Yeah. I think, look, an element of nuance like defensively would be like, I've listened to a lot of Liverpool fans this week, and I think it's interesting how they are talking about how they're enjoying the sort of control of a game. Like this sort of newfound control and calm instead of like go and not going 1-0 down. So I can appreciate fans wanting a little bit more of that, but I think you can get in your own way, can't you, as a fan base? I think
so. Look, I think if you remove all of that, generally how I feel about the situation is that the team the way we're playing now is better than the way we were playing last season. The amount of chances we're giving up is reducing. We're not at this in so far in the first 3 games conceding from set pieces. We have more control of the ball. We're getting into the opponent's box and we're having more shots. So you've got to allow, whether it's Postecoglou or the next manager you want, time to develop and create an environment that his players can thrive in. And his tactics aren't simple. It's complicated to watch. And there's a lot of freedom given to the players to get forward. Yeah. And with that freedom, there's also almost like a chemistry that needs to exist between these players in order for these freedoms to be allowed to prosper. So Romero, for example, and it doesn't always work, but Romero, there were times against Arsenal last year, Romero spent a lot of his time in that 10 position. Mental, right? Yeah, he could have had a hat-trick from that position.
Yeah.
So if you're given that freedom, there needs to be some sort of chemistry. These players need to be playing with each other for a long time, right? And then you just look at even if you don't like that, you can't argue with the finishes from both Klopp and Arteta in their first 2 seasons. Postecoglou's already done better in his first season.
That's true.
They've been given time to breathe. So give him time to breathe. Let him be. Let's see what's happened.
Luke, can you come into the arena, please, into the studio? Sorry, Flav. Go on.
But what I'm saying, James, is that we're kind of talking like there's a load of Spurs fans that want him out. It ain't. The vast majority are very backing, love his style of play, and appreciate him. There are just a few that don't.
Okay. Luke, are you on your way? If not, Hancock, do you want to come in with your hot take? Because like all... here he is. Like all good podcasts, I want to make sure we've got enough time for lasagna chat. Luke.
Not got a camera, Luke, no. Just going to look at your stupid little logo of your stupid company.
Couldn't go in. Right.
What a lovely welcome, Flav.
Yes.
What is the name of your company?
Surely
you should...
Connexus, mate. Connexus.
There you go.
That's Connexus. Luke.
What do you do? What do you do quickly, Luke?
No, I ain't got time for this because I've only got 15 minutes.
Mailbag
No one
comment.
cares. Right, Luke is a Brum fan.
Don't say that. Birmingham, please. Birmingham, please, Jim.
Birmingham. Sorry, do people not like that?
It's a promo.
Yeah, Birmingham City fan. Come on.
All right, it's like people don't like Notts Forest. I hate it.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you're a Birmingham fan, and you're buying your way to success. Explain.
Perfectly legally. Yeah. Can I just say as well, there's a lot of layers to this, and I understand how it looks. So we're a bit of the post.
Never a good start.
Never a good start. No.
So you call with your pants down going, I know this looks.
Yeah. I know how it looks. Look, back in like when Redknapp was with us 2017 and we spent 40 million on awful players and then it ruined us for like the next 7-8 years. I get that. But this is a lot different, and there is a lot of layers to it. So, at any point I start to bore you, you can stop me. But let's have a chat about what it is. I think the first thing is no one's actually talking in a scenario of a transfer window about the players that we've sold and if we've got any money back in.
So tell us then.
Yeah. So first we've sold a number of players this summer for 7.5 million, rising to around 10, and the majority of that money is Jordan James. So he's gone to France to Stade Rennes. Your boy Kai, Jim loves him, Welsh international, young kid. He's going to be a good player. Surprised he went there, but the long and short of it is we got 4 million quid up front for him, apparently, which is rising to around 7 million. So before we even start, there's 4 million quid in the process of FFP, which is pure profit on the balance sheet, straight in the books, before we've spent a penny on any players. So that's important to note, I think. Secondly, when the new owners came in last year, they'd done this open house to improve communication with fans, etc. And the number one thing for them that they said is basically generate more money equals better performance on the pitch. Because the more money we get in, the more money we can spend on players, which is a very simple concept. But our previous owners didn't spend any money on the club to try and get people to go there. The stadium was half empty. And essentially, there was a lot of neglect in the club. So just by them saying that we're going to spend some money on the football club and we expect you to come and support us doing that, that has been a positive thing for the fans. And that has happened. So they spent 12 million quid just to fix it last year. And they spent 15 million quid on the ground just to upgrade it this year. So hospitality areas, fan parks, etc. Right? Now, that has then led to 20,000 season tickets being sold. That has led to people being at the ground 3 hours before, spending money. There's 27,000 fans going into the first 2 league games in League One, which, by the way, is probably more than 4 or 5 Premier League teams average in terms of gate receipts and attendances. So when you compare that to League One and revenue and things like that, that's an important thing to notice. But last season, they said that before we got relegated, we were already on track to be the 4th highest revenue in the league, only behind the 3 parachute payment teams. So when you take that into account, that's mental.
So you're generating lots of money from the stadium now, much more than you used to previously.
Correct.
And you've sold £5 million, and then you've dropped down into League One. So you're not generating anywhere near as much money in League One by participating in it than you are the Championship, or is it quite similar?
I think actually the drop off's probably a few in terms of TV money. It's a few million flat, to be honest.
Right.
I don't think the Championship money is like comparable to Premier League money.
So cool.
But it's not a massive drop.
So what you're saying is all this money is not being invested by the owners. You're generating it yourselves. Is that right?
So in terms of the FFP and the accounts and the balance sheet, we are contributing significantly just through the fact that we're generating a lot of money as a football club now that we weren't generating before. Before you include the owners' money to spend, which we will get onto that fact, don't we? Because they are spending.
Well, fucking hell, I wouldn't do lasagna chat, so don't steady on. All right.
This is interesting.
Right.
All right. This is interesting. We can go to 10 past 11, Jim.
Okay.
All right. What would you say? The transfer record, it says here on Transfer Market, is that you've brought in 5 million and you've spent 35.
Yeah, Championship club don't spend £35 million the net loss. So
but if we were 4th in the Championship, just like we are in the apparent revenue table, if we were 4th in the Championship and we dropped 15 million quid on a player, no one would be batting an eyelid, right? Just to put that into context. If you were in 4th in the Championship and you spent 15 million on a player, no one's going to go, "Oh, that's mental."
Fair point.
Yeah, so that's
you're not. No, you're in League One.
But for FFP and how everyone says we're breaking the rules for that, it's kind of not really bothered, are they? It's revenue, isn't it?
True. I don't think you're breaking the rules. I just think it's mental. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it.
Okay, let's talk about why we can do it, because that's the most important thing, right? So let's say we spent 30 million or 25 million on players, right? Everyone knows in the Premier League, all the teams do is they put players on 3 to 5 year contracts, right? That's what they do. So they amortize Catherine will know that term.
There we go.
Amortization.
Fucking
Chelsea of League One.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what we're doing is we're just spreading that 25 million over 3 to 5 years. So we've only actually spent 8 million this season. So when we take into the fact that James was 4 million, we've only spent 4 million.
What if you don't? What if you don't go up?
If we don't go up, so basically you get a year off in terms of FFP in League One when you get relegated. In terms of the other clubs, so you're allowed to spend 75% of your turnover when you first get relegated to League One. After that, you're allowed to spend up to 60% of your turnover on player wages and things like that. So it's not a massive difference.
Is that fair? Do you think that's fair?
Is the parachute payments to the Premier League teams coming down to the Championship fair?
No. Let's not do the what
No.
about.
No. I think that's a fair point. I think what I would say, because what we're saying about the problem with them is you got the parachute payments, and then it's how much the percentage of which you can spend of that. I don't know what it is I can't be asked with the financial stuff a lot of the time.
So what should happen? People are not in the Premier League should just get more money for existing. Is that what is fairer?
I would say you can have the parachute payments, but being able to then spend money on top of that. I think that's something that needs to be like. You need to be kind of careful. Yeah, exactly. Because I think like if you've got a good squad and you come down, then
I think if it's covering wages, you've had to invest to try and stay in the. That's probably fair.
Exactly.
If you just have shitloads of money to spend, it's probably unfair.
Yeah, they do. They get money, and you see all the teams do is they sell all their good players for loads of money.
But you can't. I hate that. I hate that stuff, Luke. Like when you go, but no, hang on a second. That's not fair over there. You're still doing something. You're still responsible for what you're doing.
League One is what I'm saying. We're doing the equipment in League One. So no one says that. Oh, well,
don't moan about it then.
I'm not moaning about it. I think it's fine. I think we need to generate more.
I wish. I just wish some of the conversations I've had with Luke were recorded.
Yeah,
I just wish.
When it was Rooney, it was so unfair that the teams could spend all that parachute. But now,
it's funny, isn't it? Can I say what I think is interesting here is that like I don't for a second like we all go through the mire as football fans, and then this happens to to Birmingham City, and I want to let you.
Yeah,
I want to let you enjoy it, but let me just tell you how I felt when I saw. And I'll get hammered for this, okay? But I'm just telling you what my initial chimp brain thought was. I saw the clip of the last-minute winner last week, and I thought, why? Well, obviously, you're obviously going to win, aren't you? Because you've bought it. Because you've bought it.
That is a fan base that's had 10 years of awfulness finally winning football matches. That's what that is.
I'm with Luke. I'm with Luke here. I'm with Luke. It doesn't matter that they've spent the money. They've gone.
I'm saying my chin brain's wrong most of the time.
No. It's not wrong as a fan. Like I don't want anybody in football to enjoy their football club. Like all of them. I want everybody in football to be miserable other than Tottenham fans, right? Because that means it's going well. So that's the standard for most fan base.
One thing
you can look at Birmingham, James. You know this. It's like if it was happening to the QPR, it'd be over the moon for you. I wouldn't be saying if you get down to League One or you spent the money. But Birmingham have had a shit time of it. Let's be honest. They've had a fucking shit time of it.
I get it. I absolutely get it. My point
and they've had to witness Aston Villa as well, getting in the Champions League. Look,
my point is with in the ebb and flow of us, you like for example, Rex, like Brentford, for example. I would always rooting for Brentford because my mate supported them, and they were over there and go on Brentford, and then they sort of start to all of a sudden they're like looking you in the eye, and you go, oh hang on a minute, go away, and then they're sort of like sailing off into the distance. It's like, oh hang on. And obviously, money has been a huge, and people having more money than others has been a huge frustration for Birmingham fans. Same when you think of say Newcastle United and like what they've, the sort of change up from being utterly like the taps were off to the taps being able to be kind of put on. My point is that with every element of a success now, you're stepping towards your villain arc. Does that make sense?
Wrexham, for example.
So Wrexham now, they were over there, and it's good on you lads. Go on, off you go. For Birmingham, what will be really interesting, I think, for Luke is that Luke, who will have been frustrated with Man City and Chelsea and all these guys, will now be basically walking towards the villain arc. Does that make sense?
Mate, if this is what you feel like, if this is what Man City and Chelsea feel like, spending all of the money and winning all of the games, I am absolutely fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, I would if it was happening to Spurs, and it may happen to Spurs where we've got like we generate all this revenue and then we get some sort of Qatari consortium come in and we can spend it. I won't be going, damn, the fabric of football is falling apart. I'll be going, give me all the players.
Last question, Luke. Would you rather be Man City or would you rather be Brighton?
Fair question. I would rather be Man City every single time.
I love it.
Why do you go to the football at 3 o'clock on a Saturday? It's to see your team win and the feeling you have with your mates and your family that you go and watch. That's it.
Well, I hear that.
Rubbish. Now they're getting all the glory and they're loving it, and that's why you go to the football.
I don't know if they're loving it. They can't. To me, it feels like they're just on the back. On defensive, like the people in
the first few though, they love the first few. Like I'll have the first few, and then I'll deal with the numbers.
I get it. Deal with the devil.
Do you know what? I wouldn't change. Now that you're not City, you've won it sort of 6 in the last 7 or whatever it is they've done.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't. Just one day, hopefully before I die, Spurs will win the league, and it will feel incredible. They've already had their journey. They've already travelled to Disneyland.
Yeah, but to the point of like, you know, I guess successful ownership now as well. It's like I can't remember. Is it not? What's it called? What's the called, Luke? The Nighthead. That's it. So them owning all of the sort of surrounding area and the money that will then generate. That's what Daniel Levy's been planning this whole time to get to a point where you've got such cash kind of coming in through the area that you're in, and Birmingham City clearly a sleeping giant, so like it makes sense from that point of view. I think I'm pleased we've had this chat. I feel better about it now.
It's also like I don't know if you've been to Birmingham, Jim.
A long time ago.
Yeah, I can say this because I'm half Brummie.
Yeah,
you can't, Flav. You're not allowed to say what you're about to say. You're not allowed to say it.
He's about to.
Mate, I'm as much Brummie as you are, mate. I've spent most of my life growing up in Birmingham.
You did, mate.
So much.
You came out of a Brum, didn't you?
Yeah, literally. Mate, tell me about Shard End. You tell me about Shard End. You know nothing compared to me about
she's a great singer.
Absolute shithole. That's where I grew up. Anyway, there's only so much you can achieve in the city of Birmingham.
This season, if it all goes well, especially with like the sunshine at the moment, feels like a bit of a holiday, doesn't it? Do you feel like you're on a holiday?
Mate, I just don't feel like it's real. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like just like riding a wave a bit.
Catherine's piping up in the comments as well.
Yeah, I dread to think what she's saying about the Villa, but all I'll say, boys, is 100 points, 100 goals this season. That's the aim. And if we don't do that, we've underachieved.
Yeah, I would say as well. I'll call it now. Within 5 years, Birmingham finish above Villa.
Mate, I'll call it now. Within 5 years, Blues will finish above Spurs.
Oh, and now he's bothered. Now I'm all for it. Now when he's getting a bit closer to you.
League One Birmingham.
Yeah. No, if they get anywhere near Spurs, I'll be changing my position completely.
Exactly.
I've just got to clear up a couple of things because people are saying I can't say what I like about Birmingham or the Midlands, but I can.
Yeah, well done, Flat. I appreciate that.
There you go.
Yeah, it's. You can't have a bloodline directly from something and then not be able to talk about it.
Right.
You can't. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, mate.
Tight
for time on Hancock's hot take, but Hancock, in you come. Drop your bomb. He's good, Luke. Yeah, good lad.
Good lad. Yeah, I don't mind it. Like if someone's in League One, how can say whatever you like about them.
See, this is the point. I think this is where it's aggravating me more because I know they're literally 18 months from being ahead of us. Do you know what I mean? They're like, because also they buy in Jay Stansfield because they go, well, he's a great player in the Championship and we're going to be over there in a minute, so let's buy him now. And then
James, why is nothing like this happening at your club? Like
what I would say, Flav, especially after beating ex-Premier League Luton Town last week.
Twice.
I listened to an interview with Christian Nuri, our CEO wonder kid, and he is smarter than the rest of us. And something might be happening at the Yards.
I know.
The squad's got depth, Flav. The squad's got fucking depth.
You're free to the third round of the League Cup as well.
Yeah, we're second on Palace. Good point. I need to buy my tickets. I'm going to do that today.
So, James, just quickly before we go
Hancock.
to Hancock's hot takes.
Yeah.
Quickly.
God, very
I
quick.
did go to Loftus Road in the summer.
Yeah.
And I did look around and go, what a little shit heap this place is.
Right. Go on. Is that it? Is he done? Is that it?
Yes.
Just quickly. Right. Hancock. Hancock's hot take. For those of you who missed the last podcast, Hancock has a podcast called Floodlights Camera Action.
Yes, with my co-host Veronica, who told me off because I didn't mention her last week.
Oh, brutal. Okay.
What you told her for what? What was that? Sorry.
Well, I didn't mention her, and she went, "Why didn't you say my name?" I was like, "I'm really sorry." So I cried.
Starstruck.
Who does she think she is?
Yeah, exactly. So, and we can't do.
What's
her name again? Say her name again.
That ship.
Say what? Sorry.
Who's the captain of the ship? Is Flat's question.
Oh, it's vice captaincy. Yeah.
Oh, right.
So we just share it. You know, she edits.
Both have got right.
Look pretty.
You won't last. You need someone to lead.
Yeah.
You won't last.
Well, yeah, surely you're both captain instead of both being vice captain. There's no captain. Doesn't make any sense.
There's no captain.
Right.
You're gonna crash into rocks.
Yeah, exactly. Last week, Hancock admitted that he'd watched 253 films this year. What are we up to now?
Let me check very quickly.
2 weeks
Not prep list.
Does he write it down, dear?
It is. I'm on 261.
261.
So it's an 8.
What you watched this week?
Episode.
Okay.
Watched Training Day, obviously. Flav, we had a little moment bonding over that.
Yeah.
Watched The Sting. Watched all sorts. Silence of the Lambs. It's been a good week. It's been a very good week.
It's been a good week. I love that. Like when you're watching as many films as Hancock does, you've got good weeks and bad weeks, and you don't know what a good week or a bad week's going to be like. Interesting.
Yeah, there was a period in June where it was a bad week.
Was it a bad week?
Very
Tough
bad
week, was it?
yeah.
Interesting. Was it a Marvel one? Right, so Hancock's hot take. What is this week's hot take?
Well, I don't think I'll get as much abuse for this one. It is that Tom Cruise is the most underrated actor of his generation. Not the best, but the most underrated.
I think he gets a lot of stick for being a bit of a weird freak.
And that is objectively true.
Yeah, but he's an excellent actor. But Magnolia, case in point, right? He's incredible in Magnolia.
Do you know what he was good in? But the film was mental. Vanilla Sky, was it? Not Vanilla Sky.
Yeah, I've got that. I've got a list of performances that I've just been
a
huge fan.
Go on.
I've
He
got
is
Magnolia, Eyes Wide Shut, Vanilla Sky, Collateral, the Top Gun film, Jerry Maguire, Born on the 4th of July, Mission Impossible films, Risky Business, and Edge of Tomorrow.
Great.
I've seen about 21 Tom Cruise films.
Great.
And I feel like I can give a good opinion on Tom.
Collateral's an underrated film. It's gone under the radar. Everyone should watch Collateral. It's amazing. Edge of Tomorrow is incredible as well. Just to sit back, eat some mushrooms, and just watch Edge of Tomorrow. It's fucking blows your mind.
Responsibly. What's your favourite kind of Tom Cruise? I'll tell you now. Mine is a sort of flabbergasted Tom Cruise. It's my favourite kind of Tom Cruise.
I like cocky but broken, so like Magnolia, Vanilla Sky, where he gets brought down a peg.
Yeah,
Magnolia was ahead of its time as well. With
It's an incredible film, incredible.
Yeah, it is. It is top drawer. But the
Jerry Maguire is great.
His character, Jerry Maguire, is amazing. His character in Magnolia is almost like
It's Andrew Tate, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew Tate, but 20 years ago.
Right.
But a broken Andrew Tate, kind of like what's happening to him right now. But he's anyway.
I always maybe it's a game you can play in your pod, but I always kind of go, who is the sort of greatest and biggest of our generation, and it's like it always gets to DiCaprio and Hanks. Maybe one for next week, but yeah.
I find Tom Hanks
weird. Tom Hanks, isn't he? He's a bit
boring.
weird.
Just boring. I think about Tom Hanks. I'm bored to death the minute I think of him. Can I say
Hanks or Cruise? You've been Cruise above Hanks.
I think Hanks is probably a more acceptable, sort of palatable answer, but I would actually much rather watch Tom Cruise than.
Well, Tom Hanks for me is the answer you give when you don't know much about film, and someone goes, "Oh,
right." Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You
fucking piece of shit. I love abusing. I don't know why.
I love the abuse, so it gets clicked.
Mate, just can I chuck in my underrated actor throw in? Ben Foster.
The Cycling GK.
Yeah, no, not him. So not everyone they'll know him because he's been in a lot of films, but he's never got a lead role. He's always like a bit part in a wider film. But Go and watch Alpha Dog. He's in Alpha Dog. Pretty heavy film, Alpha Dog, but he's been in 30 Days a Night. And I just think he's an incredible actor who just never quite got
Ocean's
an opportunity.
11. Was he in Ocean's 11?
No, he looks like James
don't
Caan's
mention
son, Scott
Ocean's
Caan.
11.
Oh, yeah.
Mate, this dickhead fucking put in Ocean's 11 above Jaws. And what was the other? Yeah, it
Happy
was
Gilmore,
above
he
Jaws.
said was mid, didn't he?
Mate, it's crazy.
Do you know what I would? Do you know someone I'll always, if he's in it, I'll watch it. Stephen Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Safe around Stephen Graham, isn't he?
He's wonderful.
Yeah.
Great crier. I love a good man. I like a good man crier.
Paul Mescal, good man crier, upcoming man crier.
Yeah. Really on the rise as an upcoming male crier.
Jack, have you watched
favourite male criers? Let us know.
No, I can't say I'm too familiar with Ben Foster, so I'll it's something to check out, which I like.
Yeah,
when I've
you
not
will.
seen something.
Yeah, you will. You will. Watch 310 to Yuma. That's really good. It's got. He's in that as well, along with Russell Crowe and Christian Bale. It's a bit of an
Interesting cast.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you who's fucking overrated. If we're just going to finish on this,
Go on.
this isn't going to be popular. I get grief every time I say this. Daniel Day-Lewis, the most overrated scene-stealing actor there ever is.
Have you seen Phantom Thread?
Phantom Fred.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. But I've seen Gangs of New York, and he is an abomination in that.
Yeah, too loud. Too loud.
Too much.
Too much. Too hot. It's
Yeah,
coming
look
in
at
way
all of
too
his
hot.
performances. Have you not seen There Will Be Blood?
Yeah, of
seen
course.
that?
I love that performance, but it was like it's
Oh, mate, he just
kind of like it's the
steals
Tom
every
Hanks
scene.
of actors. It's like everyone goes, "Oh, it's the best performance ever." I'm not as sure. It was
It's
good,
not-
but a bit loud.
The son has the best performance in that film. Not the son, the creepy geezer. I can't remember his name.
The priest guy.
Yeah, he's the best thing in that. Of that
Actually,
film.
I'd actually say he's probably up there with underrated.
Yeah,
He's good. Paul Dano's good in everything.
yeah,
Little
he's
Miss
incredible.
Sunshine, great in that.
All right,
Little
shut up,
Miss
you two.
Sunshine. My son, what have you done to my son? You're like, fuck off, will you? Fuck your son and
too
fuck
loud.
you.
Too loud. I
Yeah.
agree. Right, great work, Hancock. Good take this week.
Yeah, good
we
work.
hopefully
Less
hope
abuse,
you can
which is
join
good.
us next week. Yeah, that's
Fingers crossed, mate. Take care, lads.
See you, mate.
Cheers.
Okay.
Bye.
Just because I forgot to say earlier, Stephen Dry said, I love watching this with the knowledge that Jimmy has had a kid that is going to soon replace Flav on this pod. If I want to see a 40-year-old wear a beanie and smoke a vape, I'd watch the staff at Sex have their lunch break, said Jimmy's son. 614 likes.
Motherfucker. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I just thought that was important. Right.
Just
So a new bit for next week, because we'll probably have a bit more time, hopefully, because unnecessary personal rules, right? So I'll just give you mine, and then you can think of yours, and it could be absolutely anything. But what is a rule in your life that you live by that is utterly unnecessary, but it's yours, and you're saying it with your chest? Mine is I refuse to run for a tube. You know when you're like going down the
get
stairs.
somewhere quick.
I'm not running for a tube.
Just not.
You know when
Just
it's
the
like,
problem is,
cool, let me just get in. You don't run on the
James,
tube.
do you
There's
remember
another
what
one in 2
state I
minutes.
turned up in Spotify when we did Spotify the other week? Ripple Effect.
Yeah.
You see the state I turned up in?
Yeah, you had a dab on, yeah.
I had to rush.
Well, that is what it is. I get
I
that.
did turn up with a coffee as well, which is always a bad look.
And and food. I just think
I was starving,
could have been
though. I
that
was thinking
rush,
I-
could you? Make your mind up.
Yeah, but James is going to expect 2 podcasts out of me. I need some food and coffee.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, oh, Jess, should we quickly do... Ollie says, what's better than Carlton Palmer?
Okay. What's better than Carlton Palmer? James? First question, spaghetti bolognese.
Spaghetti bolognese is better than Carlton Palmer.
Of course it is. Spaghetti
Yeah.
bolognese is better than Carlton Palmer. Spaghetti bolognese or Bukayo Saka?
I do like Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka.
You do like spaghetti?
Oh,
what, more
it's
than
tough.
spaghetti bolognese?
Oh, he's a good
So
lad,
I'll
isn't he? He's a good lad.
I think I've gone too big with Bukayo Saka because I'm not sure what food items can be better than Bukayo Saka. I need to get into your brain.
Tough.
Eggs.
Do you know what? I need eggs more than I need Bukayo Saka.
Yeah.
So, eggs. Eggs make
Eggs
make my son happy. So I'm gonna have eggs or eggies.
Exactly.
As we call them.
Great answer. Is that what he calls them? Eggies.
Eggies, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So eggs or A Delta Wrapped. I've done a Delta
Cut
Wrapped.
that,
And the Impy.
I'm going to stick with eggs. I don't think I love
Eggs
Andy
over Andy Impey.
Yeah, although Andy Impey, without Andy Impey, we don't have the Trevor Sinclair bicycle kick ripple effect. Great podcast this week, by the way. We had Seb Hutchinson, who's commentator for Sky Sports. It's honestly 2 really, really good podcasts this week. Please go check them out. Yeah.
Ollie just said, Flav definitely thought of Jim rolling the egg on his desk. Yes, I did.
Yeah, sure.
Boiled egg, hard-boiled eggs, brought in from home, rolled on the desk. Mental.
What was I going to say there?
And that's so eggs win. Eggs win.
Yeah, eggs win this week. Well done, eggs. Should that come back? Also, give us yours down below, please. Your better than Carlton Palmer's. We need a sort of a bit of a thread there, don't we? We need a bracket of where to go afterwards. Right, I want to do this. So, lasagna chat. Nate Hawke said James spitting truth on the lasagna complaint. Whenever I'm served lasagna, I'm low-key angry about my portion to the whole meal. I got sent about 5 or 6 lasagnas over the last week or so.
I remember his line. So I was just trying to get you to draw the actual size of the lasagna on your plate, and you just wouldn't do it. I was so frustrated.
I'm really bad at the moment for bouncing about. I apologise.
All right.
A duck in a boat said, the other consideration, crucial one here actually, it's a good point, with lasagna is depth of lasagna itself. If it's deeper, it can be a slightly smaller slice. It's a good point. Because if you've got that depth and you're still getting that quantity.
What's the correct depth for lasagna then? Because I'm thinking...
I think you want minimum of 4, don't you?
4, I'm thinking at least that thick. It's got to be almost as tall as it is... Not that fit. Not
no, not that.
That's madness.
No, I'm just trying to I'd be that I'd like.
That more than that.
You want higher than that?
I reckon so. Yeah, I'm saying 6 or 7, 6 centimeters. 6 centimeters?
Right.
No, 7. Wow. 8 centimeters. I'm going.
Okay. What I would say, I would give you a bit of advice that Gino De Campo gave me once, which was when you have a lasagna and you bring it out of the oven, you got to leave it to rest. You have to leave the lasagna to rest, because if you don't, when you cut it and try and take it out, it's just going to flop all out. It's going to be like mush. So you got to give it a second just to settle. Okay?
Do you know, my missus put her knee through the top of the cooker last night. She was cleaning above the cooker, and she knelt down and put too much pressure on the top of the glass on the top of the cooker, and her knee went straight through it. Shattered it. Luckily, she wasn't hurt in any way.
Oh, I know what you mean. It's like a lid over the top.
Well, ours doesn't have a lid. It's electric hob, so it's just all glass and yeah. So she put her knee through that. Anyway, the only reason I'm bringing this up is that we didn't have food that didn't need hobs in for dinner.
Right.
So it was like we got a slow cooker. Maybe we could slow cook some pasta and make some sort of pasta bake or something like that. It didn't work. It's disgusting. It was just slop, like pasta slop. It was fucking rank. I essentially bought a new cooker
Did you
for
talk like that
quid.
to her when she's had that all the whole stress, and you're just like, it's not worked, is it, love? It's just slop.
This is dog food.
Yeah.
Love. This is fucking dog food.
Ollie Sage says, but isn't lasagna traditional 3 layers? Jack Hancock chimes in with a 3-layer lasagna is for cowards. Ollie Sage says, I must be a coward then, Jack. Are they arguing?
Well, I think if you want to go more than 3 layers, you're not going to get a mad little Italian coming in going, what you doing? It's your own lasagna. Do
what it is? Hey, it's only a 3 layers.
I think you can. I think you can be as offensive to Italians as you want to be. I don't think there's a rule with Italians.
Sorry, with me doing that impersonation.
Yeah, I think you can do that. You know, like there's some people in the world you can be, they're like xenophobic towards them.
Right. Italians is fine.
History, like because they were like the fascists, weren't they, in the war, and Mussolini led them, and so they can't deal it out if you can't take it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true. Do you remember when I did that voice there? It reminded me of you remember that line in The Simpsons? When Homer Simpson becomes a food critic, and it's the Italian guy, and he goes, I got a better review. So my friend put a horse's head in his bed. He ate the head and gave it a better review. Thomas Martin with noodles in lasagna. Sorry, what?
What? We're not talking about just mental stuff here. We're just talking about you can't.
What?
What do you mean?
I'm confused. Okay. So yeah, there was a lot of conversation about it, and yeah, people agree with me in terms of like, if you want your lasagna, you want your lasagna, and it got me thinking of a new bit. So it can be food, it can be absolutely anything you want, and I like specific random ones, but random top fives. Get your random top fives in the comments down below. Okay. So I'll leave you with this because Flav's got to go. So this is my top 5 tomato, cheese, and 1 meat carb-based meals.
Tomato, cheese, and 1... What was it? Tomato, cheese, and 1...
My top 5 tomato, cheese, and 1 meat carb-based meals.
Why do you have to say 1 meat like that?
Because there will be 1 meat in there, but I don't want lots of different meats. Okay,
right,
it's got to be simple. It's got to be a simple thing. Actually,
you've written down a list of top 5.
I've got my top 5 here. Yeah.
Okay, all right. This is interesting.
Sorry, last thing I will say, because it was quite funny. I was talking about it on holiday, and we were having this whole debate for about 45 minutes. Kind of trying, like, right, what are all the tomato, cheese, and 1 meat carb-based meals out there? You got your enchiladas, you got all sorts of stuff. And then we got onto I'm going to throw my stepdad-in-law under the bus here. I asked him, and he loves his food. He's an incredible chef. I said, okay, do you like? We talk about pizza, and he went, "Oh, I went. What's the dream pizza for you?" And he went, cheese. He went, just cheese and onions.
What?
Cheese and onions? and he saw him panic. He went, caramelized onions. What?
What? Hang on, wait, not a margarita.
I was like, what you want? What are you like? Yeah, no, like tomato based.
Cheese and onion.
Tomato based. What's it called? Mozzarella and onions. I went, Tim. You're an incredibly impressive chef who's worked at the Ivy. You've got to be more. I don't know if you're panicking here, but I mean, go away and think about it. But
I'm with him with the onion on the pizza.
Yeah, I'm fine with onion on pizza. You can't just be onion, though.
No, it's onion sweet corn. That's what I like to go for.
Just those two?
With on essentially on a margarita, yeah.
That's mental.
Well, what are you doing?
I don't know,
you're overcomplicating it, James. You're overcomplicating whatever
that's
you're
what
doing.
you need 1 meat. I need 1 meat.
Right. Well, give me a list.
Right, here's my list. Do you want in reverse order, or 1 to 5 or 5 to 1?
Yeah, no, I want it to top 1 last, obviously.
Okay. Top 5 tomato, cheese, and 1 meat carb-based meals. In 5th spot, kind of popped into my head at the last minute, a foot-long meatball sub from Subway. That's what I'm chucking in there, yeah.
I think if I ate meat, I would definitely smash a meatball sub.
I bet there's like veggie ones.
Yeah, there are. The meatball Mariano, whatever it is. But
yeah. Sorry,
quite
yeah,
fond of the people are going to hate this, but I'm quite fond of the veggie patty in Subway.
It's fine.
Just the right amount of consistency.
Yeah, I guess that's the crucial one.
Quickly, what in Subway? Quickly, what do you go for? Every time, everyone has the same order. What do you go for?
Well, so again, because of the dicky tummy, I had to go. I had one yesterday. I had a turkey. I had a turkey breast one. Just went kind of simple and plain.
But what's your goat Subway sandwich?
My goat is the meatball. My goat is the meatball, toasted, Italian hearty, and we're looking for as much vegetables as possible. Definitely jalapenos in there. Yeah, load that mother. What I won't have it's more. It'll be quicker for me to say what's not in it. Cucumber, carrot, any kind of like the beetroot stuff, and I like Southwest sauce. Southwest sauce is really good.
Chipotle Southwest.
No, it's just Southwest, I think.
Okay, this is mine. I've got foot-long Italian, but bit boring. But I don't like rough. Anyway, I've got the veggie patty. You got the lettuce. You got onion. You got gherkins, especially. Fucking love a gherkin.
Yeah.
Sweet corn and black olives with Chipotle Southwest sauce. Fuck yeah, nice. Banging.
When it comes to the veg in a Subway, what's crucial is that. Okay, look, because you want a bit of everything. If you want everything, because you want to get your money's worth, which, of course, as we know, 6 years in, Allcott loves, then you then got to think about, you can't be going lots of that, lots of that, lots of that. You've got 2 lots of in your veggie bit that you can ask for. So I did yesterday, I went, can I get lots of onions? Ironically, after earlier, and
you asked for more than they're sprinkling on.
So I've gone. So what you do every Subway?
I've got an etiquette in Subway. You don't just put more on.
No. You can't go more. You can't do that. You can't do that.
No,
my point is that you go. So when you get to the vegetable bit, when you get to that bit, obviously everyone goes lettuce, ovs, right? And then you're sort of working your way through, right? And they're going to do one handful, but are they going to go like that, or are they going to go like that?
Yeah.
Right? But you can't be asking them to go like that on every one because he's never going to be able to fold it together at the end of it all.
Say lots.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got two moments where you can go lots, I think. So although I want tomatoes and gherkins and everything else, I want lots of onions and I want lots of olives on this occasion. But normally I'll probably go lots of jalapenos. Anyway.
Jim, do you look at him in the eye do you make sure that he's heard you? Do you look at him in the eye? Mate, did you hear what I said? Lots of onions.
No.
It's a fucker, James. As someone who's kind of like, just allow them to get on with their job, don't make their life remotely any more complicated than it needs to be because they're working in fucking Subway.
Yeah.
I don't say anything. Right, so, but when they're putting the sauce on, the whole of a Subway depends on the correct amount of sauce. If it's too much, it's a mess.
Yeah.
If it's too little, you can't taste it.
Yeah.
You've got to watch them. You've got to fucking watch these people. Because they don't care. Why would they care? True. I care. It's cost me £9.
Do you know? I had a lovely moment with my Subway guy yesterday, actually, because they go. So you say your meat or whatever it is, you go one, and they do it like they fold it, don't they? Fold like the cheese as well. They go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? He'd picked a wad up of turkey. He's lined it up perfectly, and he had one left in his hand.
Put it in, mate.
And he just popped it in. I thought
he popped it in.
Yeah, I gave him a little wink. Good man.
Fucking love that guy. Popped it in. I thought he was going to put it back.
Yeah.
When you said that, I thought he
put it back. If he puts it back, I'm like, come on, mate. Fuck's sake, it's a bit of turkey breast. Anyway.
Do you ever go double cheese ever?
Can you go double cheese? I didn't know you could go double cheese.
You have to pay extra 30p.
I wouldn't bother because I don't think it affects the flavour that much.
Well, let me tell you, if you want a cheesy Subway, there's the cheese that it is like the mozzarella mix. It's sort of like grated.
Okay, is that better?
That has more punch to it than the.
That's really interesting. Thank you for telling me that. Thank you for telling me.
You're welcome.
That's really good. A question for you, right? You're allowed one sauce, and it's like the usual, normal sort of perfect amount of sauce.
Yeah.
Or double cheese. Which one would you choose?
Sauce. It's got to be sauce.
Sauce first. Yeah, I agree.
It's got to be sauce.
I think you learn that with time. I think back in the day I would have gone double cheese. But in truth,
you'd think that.
Yeah, in truth, you're not really tasting the cheese. Right, meatball sub. In fourth spot, I'm gonna need adjudication here. Now, Spag bowl was in my top 3. Spoiler alert. Okay. Am I allowed pasta bake as well?
What? So explain pasta bake to me, because if you're just saying, is it a jar of dolmio on some pasta grated with cheese and put in the oven? Is that all it is?
Yeah, penne. Yeah, it's
penne.
Yeah, and exactly over the top.
Are you making your own sauce, or
I've got
using a jar of dolmio?
I haven't thought that far ahead, but essentially it's that saucy vibe.
It's shit in terms of all of the things you can have: lasagna, spag bowl,
but so
meatball marinara.
On a technicality, should I not be? Is it too close to? You're
allowed it. What is it? A mince?
Is it a mince?
You put a mince in there, or is it just the sauce?
No. I see what you mean. Right. I think I'd want maybe even like it could be a chicken pasta bake. I don't know. I have got an alternative. I can put in fourth.
Go on.
Okay, my alternative. Forget pasta bake then. Chili con carne in fourth.
So whenever someone says we're having chili tonight, I'm like, that's so boring.
Cheese, look, bit of sour cream and cheese on top. Cheese on top, I would like.
Every time I eat, I go,
possible.
I actually like chili. But when everyone says, do you want chili? I always say no.
Right. If done right. So I'll put that there. Third spot, pizza. Pepperoni pizza.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be on there. Pizza's one of the greatest things ever made.
Yeah. It is great. And somehow it's gotten to third on this list, but in our conversation the other week, and by the pool, it was between pizza and spag bowl. But I've put in, if given to me in a way that I see fit and I'm happy with, lasagna is number 2. So lasagna done right is second on my list of tomato, cheese and 1 meat carb-based meals. And in top spot, of course, for me, it has to be spag bowl done right.
Spaghetti bolognese is number 1.
Spaghetti bolognese is number
I'm
1.
not.
Lasagna 2. Pizza, pepperoni pizza 3. Chili con carne 4. Meatball sub 5.
Is anyone actually
Listening still?
Yeah, I've got to go. But it's 25 past 11 for fuck's
know.
sake. But this has been good. I enjoyed this so much that I thought this is worth it. But yeah, I just wondered if anyone out there actually does it. If anyone's still watching this, if you've somehow got to the end, tell me. Well, give us your 5.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, but there were people who did. We asked that same question last week, and people did get to the end, and they were like, "Do you know what? It was good." And some people were like, I never get to the end, and they had. So thank you if you have got to the end.
There's plenty of football chat in there. There's plenty of football.
Yeah, and there's enough football chat out in the world. Fucking hell. Right. Right, Flad's got to go, obviously. Thank you so much. If you want to join us for our mailbags, which we do every week, then you can enjoy that and the 160 that is in the back end of our Patreon for less than a London pipe. Link is in the description. Have a great weekend. Speak soon.
Cheers, everyone.